Prime Minister Manmohan Singh made a statement in regard to that matter. He made a statement in regard to that matter in the Lok Sabha, in the course of which we said, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh announced on Monday that India was inclined to vote in favour of a resolution on promoting reconciliation and accountability in Sri Lanka at the ongoing 19th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva. Went on to say, and this is important, that we hope will advance our objective, namely the achievement of the future for the Tamil community in Sri Lanka, that is marked by equality, dignity, justice and self-respect. So the achievement of the objective was one of the factors that influenced India to take the decision to vote in favour of the resolution of the Human Rights Council. India has emphasized to the Sri Lankan government that there should be a genuine process of reconciliation to address the grievances of the ethnic Tamils and implement the recommendations of a high-level committee whose report was tabled in that nation's parliament. For lasting peace, India has asked the Sri Lankan government to stand by its commitment to broaden the dialogue with political parties, including the Tamil National Alliance, to achieve a forward-looking and meaningful devolution of power and genuine national reconciliation, Dr. Singh said. I think on the next day, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh wrote to President Rajapaksa to explain his position in regard to the decision taken to vote for the resolution. And this is what he said. India, he said, spared no effort and was successful in introducing an element of balance in the language of the resolution. He went on to further say, Prime Minister's letter reiterates India's conviction that a meaningful devolution package building upon the 13th Amendment would lead towards a lasting political settlement of all outstanding issues, in particular the grievances of the Tamil community in Sri Lanka, and create a condition in which all citizens in Sri Lanka, irrespective of their ethnicity, can find justice, dignity, equality and self-respect. So India has been very persistent in this matter. And I think there was a statement which was made more recently. It was made in June 2012, where again this matter has been raised, where the Prime Minister met with the President of Sri Lanka, President Mahinda Rajapaksa, on the sidelines of the conference of the UN. The Prime Minister once again underlined the great importance we attach in India to the ability of the Tamil people to lead a life of dignity as equal citizens of that country. India's Foreign Secretary, Ranjan Mathai, was reported at Rio de Janeiro as stating, not the sidelines of the UN conference, but the conference held by the UN at Rio de Janeiro in regard to certain issues. So this is the position. And I would read, sir, finally, in regard to the Indian question, the interview given by Shiv Shankar Menon, the National Security Advisor, when he came to Sri Lanka in June this year. The hopes of Tamils could only be accommodated through a political process, even an internal political process. We have to also look at that. It's a process that has ramifications for all of us. And it's not something that started today or yesterday or a few years ago. It started 60 years ago. And India knows about it. I have told you that we would like a united Sri Lanka within which all communities feel they are in control of their own destiny and they are satisfied So you see, sir, that is the position of India in regard to a political solution. India is a country which has been committed to the unity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Sri Lanka beyond question. As one who has interacted very closely, I can say for certain that India is a country which has absolutely no reservations, no second thoughts in regard to that matter. They value that the most. But at the same time, it's a country which feels that the Tamils in Sri Lanka must have their place as equal citizens in this country. Otherwise, it is not good for the Tamils, it's not good for the country. Having said that, sir, I would like to read what the co-chairs had to say in 2006 when they were still functional in Sri Lanka. This is a statement made by the co-chairs on 30th of May 2006. Said, the Sri Lankan government must show that it's ready to make a dramatic political change to bring about a new system of governance which will enhance the rights of all Sri Lankans, including the Muslims. The international community will support such steps. Failure to take such steps will diminish international support. The co-chair went on to say, the Tamil and Muslim peoples of Sri Lanka have justified and substantial grievances that have not yet been adequately addressed. Now, who are the co-chairs? Norway, the EU, America, and Japan. EU representing all the European countries, Japan, Norway, and America. And this is what the co-chairs said. Now, going further, sir, I would like to read to you what the Assistant Secretary for South Asia, at that point of time, Richard Boucher, said in the course of an interview he gave the press in Sri Lanka during one of his visits. That was on the 1st of June, 2006. Mr. Boucher said, we also think that the government should provide a positive vision to Tamils and Muslims of a future Sri Lanka, where their legitimate grievances are addressed and their security assured. President Rajapaksa has spoken of maximum devolution. Previous negotiations have agreed to internal self-determination within a federal framework. However, the idea is expressed, it should offer hope to many in the north and east that they will have control over their own lives and destinies within a single nation in Sri Lanka. Assistant Secretary Boucher went on to say, in the course of the same interview, although we reject the methods that the liberation tigers have used, there are legitimate issues that are raised by the Tamil community, and they have a very legitimate desire, as anybody would, to be able to control their own lives, their own destinies, rule their own destinies, and to govern themselves in their homeland, in the areas they have traditionally inhabited. He was asked a question, sir, in regard to Sri Lanka's constitutional framework, and a statement made by the co-chairs. His answer was, I don't know if I can elaborate much more than what was in the statement. When you look at the situation now, and the forms of government and the way things are structured now, and what it would take to involve the Tamil community politically in a new arrangement, that does require a great deal of change, a radical change in terms of movement. Now that's a change that can be considered. A vision needs to be put out and needs to be elaborated by the parties themselves and then negotiated by the parties themselves. But whatever you call it, it is quite a different governing structure than what you have now, and one that's designed to give an enhanced political role to all the people of Sri Lanka, but particularly to take into account the desire of Tamils and Muslims to have more control over their own destinies and over their own areas. So this is not merely the view of India and the co-chairs, but also the view of America. And I think, sir, I mention these matters because I think these people tend to forget that all these things happen when they're not reminded of these things. And I would now, sir, look at what President Rajapaksa himself had to say when he addressed the APRC, inaugural meeting of the APRC, and the multi-ethnic experts committee he appointed. Nobody said. It's in perfect consonance with all that I have quoted as having been stated by the Prime Minister of India, as having been stated by our ministers and ministers in India, as having been stated by the co-chairs, and as having been stated by the US government, by its Assistant Secretary. Under the caption, Unity, Territorial Integrity and Sovereignty, this is what President Rajapaksa said. The unity, territorial integrity and sovereignty of our country must be preserved. This cannot be open to bargain. Our approach has been widely endorsed by the international community, notably India, and the co-chairs have clearly stated and have clearly ruled out any form of division of the country. Our objective must be to develop a just settlement within an undivided Sri Lanka. Each party represented here has its own solutions to the national question. We will discuss and synthesize these different approaches and develop our own Sri Lankan model. We must explore past attempts from the Bandaranaike-Chelvanayagam Pact onwards. We must draw appropriate lessons from the experience of other countries. I will not impose a solution on the country, but you, through your developments, through your deliberations, will provide a solution to the national question.